Right, so I, on Monday, went to St Leonard's Church in Hythe. And Hythe's a little coastal town, very beautiful little place. And the reason I went there is because I wanted to visit an ossuary. Now, an ossuary is a collection of bones, also referred to as the crypt. And it's just a place where there are bones all over the place. You get to go into this room and see them. Now, I knew about this place because I went to a wedding there, to the wedding at the church, St Leonard's Church, a year previous. And a little kid had said to me, like, oh, there's skeletons up there. And I kind of like, bit apprehensive, thought I'd follow her around because she wanted to show me. She's like, come see, come see. So I went round to have a look, and I went up some stairs, and I kind of looked round the doorway, and I could see these skeletons and skulls on a wall. And I was like, wow. Because I was at the wedding, I couldn't experience that. I couldn't go in there at the time because I was at the wedding. I got to do photos, and we had to go off to the reception afterwards. So I was kind of like, oh, I really want to go see that. And I kind of wanted to see it. I remember the autumn time I tried to go back again, but they shut down throughout winter, so I couldn't go then. So then I came back this Monday in May, and I kind of didn't really know what I was expecting when I went in there. So I went in and I was greeted by a lovely woman called Eve, who was absolutely, I'm pretty sure her name was Eve. She was absolutely amazing. Like, I can't tell you how grateful I was that she was the person that greeted me, because she was so informative and so welcoming and so kind of upbeat in this very macabre sort of dark place. She was very upbeat and cheerful, that it made it such an experience. So I walked in there. Now, the thing about walking into a place like this is it's such an amazing experience to do. Part of me wanted to go in with my camera so I could do a good video for you guys. But at the same time, I kind of had this, I've been having this thing lately where I want to be present in the moment. So I was like, I could always record me going in later for the purpose of a video. And I walked in and I got hit by this kind of weird, morbid curiosity at first, like, wow, there's bones everywhere, this is mad. They're all kind of staring at the skull, they're kind of facing you. I was like, this is kind of weird. And then it was like, oh, but what's that? And that's that point when Eve started to say to me, would you like to know about this place? Would you like me to tell you about it? And then I was like, yes. And I got into one of the best conversations I've ever had in a place like this. Like, and when I say that, I mean like museums, art galleries, etc. Because Eve was one of the most joyful, informative, funny, sort of like passionate person about this ossuary, this crypt. She knew everything about it. And this wasn't like when you go to a lot of these places, like it's like someone's like read off a script what they're going to say. This was someone who knew everything and was passionate about it and wanted to spread this about the information. And from her joy and passion of it, it filled me with that. So I'm in there after having the conversation with her, soaking everything in and loving it. And then I remember I had a camera, so I started taking photos in there. And a reason I haven't gone back and filmed me going in again, or filmed anything in there, I didn't do any video in there, is because that experience has to be yours and yours alone. So as I said, I walked in and was fascinated. And when I had the conversation with Eve about the place, which I'll get into a bit more of that in a minute, she said that everyone that's come in here seems to have like a different experience. And she has witnessed these experiences, obviously working. She sees people come in. So some people will go in and be all like, wow, this is amazing. Some people will kind of be nervously going in. She said some people are more spiritual. They go in there, they say they hear voices or whatever, but they get that spiritual feeling from the place. She said some people have put their foot over the doorstep, one look, and turned and ran the other direction, like literally sprinted away from the place because it's too creepy for them and scary. So I was just like, wow, because like hearing that was interesting as well. Because I'm fascinated by things like that, like different people's different experiences. So I didn't want to record me going in because that will take away from you doing it yourself, which I really highly recommend you do. So now I'm having a conversation with Eve. She says that like the earliest record of this place being here is 16. I've got it's in. They give me a leaflet as well, which is great. This is a fascinating leaflet. 1678 was the early sort of like record of this being here, which means the bodies are from well before that. So it's like, where did they come from? And the truth is, no one 100% knows. There's theories of where these bodies and these skulls and all that have come from, but no one knows. And that's brilliant as well, because I love a mystery. It's good that it's still a mystery. I love the fact it's not 100%. So when the early theories was it could be people from the Black Plague that were sort of chucked in there out of the way, the dead bodies, we need to get rid of them and put them in there. But then we know that they buried everyone from the Black Plague in plague pits, so that doesn't really correlate, but that was a theory they had. Another one is from a big battle that had happened, and these are all the sort of the soldiers that were killed during the battle that were kind of like put in there as a way to respect them just being left to rest there, because no one really knew they were. They sort of left them in there. They could have been like people that migrated, no one really knows, so they put them in there. And also a lot of the skulls had like what looked like battle damage, like cracks in the skulls, holes. That's like, well, obviously that's weapons going in, that's swords and axes being hit on them. So that's obviously where it's all come from. However, as time goes on, people get more knowledgeable about the past and bones, and scientists get involved. And it turns out that the popular theory now is that these were people that just lived in Hythe. People that lived in Hythe, died in Hythe, and were buried in Hythe. And back in the day, they used to bury the people in shrouds, put them in the ground. And at some point, someone went, I need to build on this bit of land here, but there's dead bodies in it. We need to move them. So someone at some point would have dug the bodies up and then put them in the crypts for like safekeeping, basically. We're just going to put all the bodies in there because we don't really know what to do with them. We're going to put them in there. And obviously, the damage that they think was battle damage would have been the shovels hitting them as they went in. So obviously, they would have had a load of dirt. There's someone buried there. Let's dig it up. Bang, bang, crack. Oh, I've hit a skull. Oh, I've put a hole in it. Oh, well, let's put it in there anyway. And that's what they think this damage is. And that's where they this is where the popular theory now is what these people have come from. And this was centuries back. So it's amazing it was that long ago. And the bones are still there. So these people are still kind of with us in a way. And I love that. So you sort of, that was that. And then, like, again, Eve was so amazing with what she knew. Because she was like, if you look at some of the skulls, you'll see these marks on them. That's this disease, that's that disease. This one here, you can see there's a break in the bone, in the leg bone. It means this guy broke his leg. It's just reset slightly at a funny angle. No little bit saying about it, because I have a broken collarbone here that isn't like that anymore. It's now like that because it broke, and that's how it's set. So I know, like, that's the bones will be. So when my bones are left, that's, you're going to see that. So there's almost like every bone told a story. It was fantastic. So, and then they've got this little bit with these display cases of like interesting things, so you can pinpoint certain things, like certain diseases. It would show you these little prick holes in the head there, which meant you had a certain disease. And there was like other things like decay on teeth, and that's how they also know that these were like normal villagers. Because one reason they know it wasn't a war that caused this was because it was 50-50 male and female, which meant it would have been more male if it was a war. The other thing they sort of worked out was that these weren't rich people at all, because there was no sugar damage to the teeth, because sugar was obviously a commodity not everyone had, because it was quite expensive to get sugar back in the day. Now it's everything, like chicken nuggets got sugar in it now. But like, and you could see decay, like we've all got fillings now because our teeth decay because of how much sugar we have. And you could see like decay on some teeth, but most of the teeth didn't have any sugar decay. It was all decay from where, which could have been to do with the work they were doing, like they would hold something in their mouth and do something like that. That's where the decay and corrosion would have come from, not from food. So that was another fascinating thing. That's how they worked out they were just regular people. So when you walk in, the first thing you see is this. You see the skulls all on shelves, but then you see this gigantic wall of bones. This wall is 25 feet long, 6 foot tall, and 6 foot wide. Goes back 6 foot, and it is just bones. And I said to her when I first walked in, "Is there something underneath that they're all like connected to?" She went, "No, it is just a pile of bones. Underneath that is a flat floor, some bricks to create aeration underneath, and then this stack of bones." And I was like, "That's amazing." She said to me, the first time this was discovered, it was just the bones were all in a big pile at the back, and I think it was in the early 1900s, very early 1900s, that someone went, "I need to do something better," because the stack kept falling down. And he went in there and he stacked them like a dry stone wall. And a dry stone wall is a wall that's built out of bricks without any cement or anything to hold them together. It's just the bricks themselves that sort of, or the rocks that kind of like link together. And if you place them in a certain way, you can actually make them link together, almost like a puzzle. He'd done that with human remains, all the bones, and they're just stacked. And it's a solid structure of stacking, but it's also an artistic solid structure, because he placed the skulls on the edge so that it was something interesting to look at. And this thing is solid. Like, obviously, if you went in and started taking the bones off, they'll come away, and eventually you might take one out that'll make it fall in. But as it is now, like the wind blows through that place, and these bones are not moving anywhere. So that is an amazing feat of like engineering, that this guy just stacked these things up perfectly so that they sit there. And they do have a thing where you're not allowed to touch anything when you go in, because obviously they want to preserve all this stuff, and this, like your chemicals in your fingers could damage the skulls and all the bones. So they say do not touch anything. And again, adults and kids are allowed in there. So obviously if you've got little children, be mindful of the kids going. I've got little children myself, and I'd be like terrified they're going to touch something, so I'll probably hold them the whole way around. But like, it's a respect thing. It's a respect for the people that are laying in there, and it's a respect for the people that run the place and put their everything into preserving this. So just don't touch anything. And it is tempting to touch stuff, because there's obviously, like, you look at the skull, you go, I wonder what that feels like, and you kind of have this urge to touch, but you have to resist that urge. I had to resist it so much in there. And obviously having this conversation with Eve, who works there, about everything, I got full of information, and it was amazing. And anything I asked her, she had an answer for. She knew her stuff. So if I see, there's one part where I noticed there was like what looked like gnaw marks on a skull, and I was like, why are there gnaw marks on that skull? She was like, it's not gnaw marks, it's where the skull kind of separates. And she went, come with me, and we went and had a look at this skull on a shelf, and she said, if you look, it's cracked there, if you look through the crack, you can see the gnaw marks. I was like, wow, yeah, that's what that is. And there was like other things, whatever question I asked her, she was instantly there with a joyful answer, like this, and her passion was there as well. And it's a stunning place to visit. So as I said, I made this video so people would know about this, because this is a hidden gem. I had no clue it was there until I went to that wedding a year ago, and I still wouldn't have a clue now if I had known about it. Like, and I like stuff like this, and I had no clue it was there. And I live in Ashford, which is 2 train stops away from Sandlin, which is where I had to get to walk down. So it is possible to do. I mean, I got on the train from Ashford to Sandlin and walked down. It's about a half-an-hour walk to get to St Leonard's Church. You could go from Folkestone and walk, if you're a big time walking, walk along the coast, you could do that. It's a bit of a mission of a walk, but it's still a walk. You can get a bus from Folkestone to Hythe if you want to, or you can drive there. There are car parks in Hythe itself. Hythe's a nice place if you want to spend the day there. There's also a car park run by the church as well, so it is possible for you to park somewhere there, or I said commute in by train, bus, whatever. There's a way to get there. It's in Kent, southeast of England, a little seaside, I think it's a town of Hythe. There's a lovely little high street there. There's some nice eateries in the high street. There is a canal you can walk down. There's also like the beach. If you keep walking a little bit further on, there is a beach there as well. So it is a nice place. You could spend the day, visit St Macabre. So if you know anyone's into sort of weird stuff like this, please show them the video. Please recommend it. You've probably seen the photos I've had here, trying to show it. But to experience it yourself would be saying amazing. Like, photos do not do this place justice. I've looked back at my photos, I'm like, they don't show half of what this place is. It's as much the feeling you get in there as anything the experience. I highly recommend this. Go and see this place in Hythe. It is so worth your time. If you know anyone that's interested in this sort of stuff, share it with them. Let them know this is there. If you've been here yourself, leave some comments about your experience in this place, how you felt in there. If you know of any other crypts, any other places like this in the country, this is the largest collection in the country apparently. If you know of another one, let me know. Let me know where it is, and maybe I'll go visit that. Maybe other people will. Let's pass this knowledge to these interesting places along, because our money to get into these places help preserve them, and it's good for people to see, and it's interesting and fascinating. So please, please, please put stuff in the comments. It's well worth spreading this information. And thank you very much for your time watching this video, and I really hope you get yourself down to Hythe at St Leonard's Church and see this for yourself. It's so worth your time, and the people there are amazing and friendly and welcoming. Thanks for watching. I'll see you very, very soon for more videos. Bye.